Story 1. This photo still haunts my family. Hi. This is probably one of the most personal and unsettling things I've ever shared. I went back and forth for a long time, wondering if I should even talk about it. But maybe someone out there needs to hear it. You know those creepy photos you sometimes see online? The ones where there's a face or a figure in the background that no one can explain. I always thought they were fake, or just a trick of the light, until it happened to us. This photo was taken in 2019. The woman in the middle is my mom. On the right is my aunt, the one who took the photo. And in the corner, you can barely see a bit of my other aunt's head. But look closely. There's another woman in the background. The one marked with the blue arrow. We don't know who she is. None of us. Her face is slightly blurred, but her hand is perfectly clear. And every time we look at it, it sends chills down our spines. That day, my mom and aunts went to visit the grave of a close family friend. They were completely alone. No other visitors, no cars, no footsteps, no voices. Just them. And none of them saw this woman. But in the photo, she's there, standing like she had always been there. And even now, we have no explanation. She doesn't look like anyone we know. Not a relative. Not a family friend. Not even someone vaguely familiar. Sometimes, when we're sitting around as a family, someone brings it up again. We look at the photo for the 100th time. We come up with theories, guesses, ideas. But in the end, we're always left with the same feeling: confusion, discomfort, and a quiet kind of fear. Eventually, we put it away again. Until the next time. I don't know what this was. Maybe someone out there has an answer. Or maybe no one does. But this isn't just another creepy photo from the internet. This became part of our story. Story 2. It wasn't a dream. I know what I saw. When I was 12 years old, I went to a sleepover. It was a big sleepover with around 20 girls. We were all staying in a small one-bedroom apartment. I ended up sleeping on the kitchen floor with just a blanket. In the middle of the night, I woke up. I looked up and saw something. A tall black figure was crouching on the kitchen counter. It looked like a gargoyle. One of its arms was holding onto the cabinet above. I got scared and closed my eyes right away. After a few minutes, I opened my eyes again. Now the figure was standing at my feet. It was staring down at me. I think its skin was pale or maybe white. I do not remember seeing any facial features. I shut my eyes again and kept them closed until the sun came up. I felt cold and sick. I texted my mom and asked her to come pick me up. I left before anyone else woke up. This was not a dream. It could have been a hallucination. But I have never seen anything like that before or since. I do not think it was sleep paralysis either. I believe I was just frozen in fear. Later, the girl who hosted the sleepover moved away. We lost contact. Her father went to jail for hurting one of her friends. The figure I saw did not look like him. It was much taller and thinner. Many years later, one of his daughters died. It was a very sad time. While sharing memories, I told this story. A friend of hers said something I will never forget. She said the girl once told her that something dark always followed her father around. It has been 16 years. I have never seen anything like it again. But I still wonder who or what I saw that night. Story 3. What I saw in the mirror still haunts me to this day. I am 17 years old. Last night I could not fall asleep, so I was scrolling on my phone. Around 2:30 a.m., I finally dozed off. I was sleeping on my right side. There is a mirror next to my bed. It is placed parallel to the headboard, not facing the bed. In fact, I have two mirrors, one on each side of the bed. Not long after falling asleep, my eyes suddenly snapped open. I was not dreaming. I did not feel anything before. I just woke up for no reason. When I opened my eyes, I saw something. There was an outline of a person, like a clear shape, with a white or transparent border. It looked like a kid. Inside the shape, everything was invisible, like it was part of the background. I don't know how else to explain it. As soon as I looked at it, the figure quickly moved into the mirror and disappeared. It all happened in a split second. I get nightmares often, and I usually know when I am dreaming. I always realize it during the dream and wake up. But this was different. I know I was already awake before it happened. Right after I saw it, my heart was racing. I got up, turned on the lights, and checked the time. It was 3:07 a.m. I was so scared that I went to sleep in my mom's room. My dad took my place in my room. Nothing else happened after that. People are telling me it was just a nightmare or my imagination. Maybe it was. But I still find it strange. I had only just fallen asleep, and I was very tired. So why did I wake up like that? Story 4. Something woke me up at 3:20 a.m., and it saved his life. Last week, my husband went out to dinner with an old friend from high school. After dinner, he did not come home right away. Instead, he stayed out drinking and got blackout drunk. He visited a few bars, and around 3 a.m., he finally got in a cab. I learned this later by checking his Uber history. I had been asleep on the couch upstairs since around 11 p.m. At 3:20 a.m., I suddenly woke up. I jumped up from a deep sleep with a strong feeling that something was very wrong. I ran outside without thinking. I found him at the bottom of the stairs, face down in a large pool of blood. He was unconscious. He had fallen and hit the left side of his face on the tile. I woke him up and called an ambulance at 3:24 a.m. The blood was thick and had started to dry. I think he had been lying there for about 10 minutes before I found him. At the hospital, the ER doctor said he had a concussion and a broken nose. He had also opened an artery on the side of his nose. The doctor said that if he had stayed like that all night, he might not have made it. I have had gut feelings before, and sometimes they came true. But nothing like this. I woke up out of nowhere, knew he was in danger, and somehow knew exactly where he was. Story 5. Had a subway encounter. My first thought was that he was a vampire. Years ago, I had an encounter that I still think about. I've always been sensitive to energy. I can feel when something is off or when someone is dangerous without even turning to look. I live in Toronto. One afternoon, I got on the subway. The second I stepped into the train, I felt it. Someone was watching me. The presence was so strong it was impossible to ignore. I looked up and saw him. A man, maybe in his late 20s. He looked a bit younger than me, but somehow felt ancient. Like an old soul. He had long wavy dark hair, green eyes, and wore dark metal or gothic clothes. He wasn't smiling. He didn't move much. He just sat there. Silent. Still. His charisma was overwhelming. Not the charming kind. Something darker. I felt pulled toward him. Like something wanted me to look at him and keep looking. It wasn't attraction. It was something else. Something that made my skin crawl. Something that didn't feel human. His energy was heavy. Like it clung to the air around him. It felt cold and strange. The first thought that came to my mind was, is this person a vampire? I know that sounds crazy, but that's the word that came up. Then I laughed it off, because I know vampires are fiction. Still, that thought didn't go away. I've met plenty of attractive or intense people, but this man was different. His presence wasn't normal. It felt paranormal. To this day, I remember his face and especially his eyes. He didn't do anything. He didn't speak. But something about him felt impossible to explain. I'm a spiritual person. I believe in energy, in past lives, in people who aren't just people. So part of me wonders, what did I really see that day?